His name is Bayek.
It's good to know.
Mike.
And his eagle's name is
Cake.
Senu. He's like, Senu, be my eyes. And the hawk is like,
He's like,
He's a
"Whoa."
T-Rex. They need to make a Russian roulette game.
They do. They have that. It's like a little balloon inside a headband. And you put the balloon to your head, you pull the trigger, and it pops or it doesn't. And then you pass it around.
Oh, okay.
Which is to say, welcome to Game Rushmore, everybody. I don't know how much of that we're going to use, but there's some sort of an intro in there. My name is Josh, and I'm your host today. And with me in the room...
Host with the most. This.
You're not going to say your name? You're just going to say
Brandon.
that?
I'm Brandon. I thought you were kind of looking at Mike, so I was waiting for him to say.
I don't look at people. I want you guys to self-designate. And also with me...
oh, Mike.
Oh, Mike.
O'Malley.
The original Mike is what O stands for.
Oh, of course. And then join us via satellite.
Aaron
Lopez. King of the Wild Frontier.
He types in his answers because he lost his voice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a digitized computer speaking on Aaron's behalf.
Yeah.
They took clips from my voice from the podcast.
Yeah.
Digitized my voice.
It's like they did with Ebert.
It's actually just a big soundboard right now, and we're just randomly pushing Aaron quotes.
Yeah.
Say podcast 3 times.
Podcast.
See?
Exactly the same. All
Exactly.
three.
We just have one clip of podcast. So we just
Brandon is a wiener.
That was just a pull quote, too.
he had
He used to say
that
that
was
all
just
the time.
a snippet.
We didn't have to piece that together at all. Video games. We played some video games. A surprising amount of video games. Or actually, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We had 2 weeks, so that makes more sense.
2 weeks to play some games.
2 weeks and play some games. Brandon, why don't you start us off?
I have been playing Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh,
And I've been
Not
Your game
the
of the
new
year.
one.
digging it.
not the new one yet.
Not the new one. I bought the special edition
Mm-hmm.
for the Switch. So I have this heavy steel bookcase video game. I have this weird relationship with Xenoblade.
Mm-hmm.
So
Some would say perverted.
no, nothing like that. But, to harken back to the original Xenoblade Chronicles X, I had ordered it. I ordered the special edition via Amazon or some site, and it wasn't going to come. I had to wait a couple days. So instead of waiting, I ended up buying it again because I didn't want to wait. And I bought a digital version of it just to play it.
Of course.
And I did that, but other games I have a hard time buying.
Yeah, you put them off. But Xenoblade, you're like, well, I'm definitely going to get around to this one.
And I've played it so much that, I've obviously gotten the value of both.
How many hours do you have in X?
Well, the first playthrough was 100, and I
First playthrough.
Well, I shouldn't say playthrough. The first round of playing it, I got up to 100 hours, and I leveled up every single character to 32, and then I was stuck on chapter 9, I think, and then I got distracted. So this time I started from scratch, and now I'm at 70 hours. So, but I'm on the last chapter. I haven't beat it yet. I'm trying to get level 50 skills.
170 hours. This game does not have any DLC.
Actually, the cool thing about some of the JRPGs that come out is when they release in Japan, they have DLC that people will buy, but then by the time it makes it here, sometimes they just put everything together, and so those extra characters I was leveling, they are DLC technically, but by the time it came out in the United States, they're like, hey, let's just give them all of it.
You just get the full package.
You found them in a loot box.
No loot boxes.
Oh.
But I'm still finding locations
boxes,
I've never seen before. I'm like, wow, I've never seen that. So I mean, that's pretty amazing. But I did, buy Xenoblade. I haven't opened it yet. I'm gonna wait until I'm done with X before I move on, because they're just too similar in the way of gameplay style, and what I also played is a Steam game called Wanderlust Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
It was on sale for a couple bucks, and it is a adventure game, and you go out and there's some loot in there, and it's interesting. It's an action game. It is, I guess, a sequel to another game. I thought I could play it on my laptop, but it doesn't really run that well, so I've only played it a couple hours.
And your verdict is terrible because it doesn't play on your laptop.
Well, it's actually not a bad game at all.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Wanderlust.
Yeah. And
What's the goal? What kind of game is it?
the goal, I don't know. It seems like when you start, there's 4 locations you can go to, apart from the main hub, and they're randomly placed on a map when you start your game. But your character, every time you start, things get wiped. So you can activate teleports to get to those locations, and then you complete quests. And there's all the different things that have to do with RPGs, like recipes and companions and things you can level and that sort of thing. But it's fun, and but you kind of just you bring your character back and you try to get far.
Yeah.
And it's hard to describe. The art style is very small and pixely.
Okay. Is it the kind of amorphous pixels where it doesn't really shape things, but you have obvious color for a head? Is it detailed or not detailed?
The actual it's detailed, but not so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of old school. The locations are more detailed than not. But then there's loot, and that's pretty cool.
You and loot.
It's all about the loot.
I love loot.
I'll never understand the obsession with
It
loot.
makes games good.
Yeah. If you love it, you got to put it in a box.
And you have to randomly.
Wait.
You know that famous song? If you love it, you got to put it in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you love it, you got to put it in. It
It doesn't work. Stop while your head. You're good.
And that's what I've been playing.
Yeah.
I kind of stopped playing Shadow of War.
Yeah. Full
yeah.
stop.
Boring.
I don't want to say anything bad about it because there's nothing for me to say bad about it. It's just haven't been in the mood.
There's nothing to
I played so much
for him
of.
to say good about it. So
Well, I mean, it's a good game. I just don't really care.
That is pretty much exactly how I felt about the first one.
Oh, okay. See, the first one I had so much fun. I guess it was fresh. And this is just it's definitely elaborated, but now I'm it's kind of diminishing returns.
I was stuck between that and Assassins, so I delayed my purchase on Shadow of War to see how Assassins would be.
Mhm.
Very happy with my choice.
Are
I'm
you?
getting Assassins, yes.
Well, I mean, I like the game, and I'll probably eventually go back. But if I didn't have Xenoblade, and I just haven't, I've been filled with this Xenoblade hype so much. It's reawakened my love for X, and I definitely will have withdrawal pangs when I finish and move on. But I don't know if I'll move directly from that to 2 because they're too big and too similar.
what would you say your stopgap is going to be if you had to guess right now?
If I had to guess, it would probably be Ni no Kuni 2.
Yeah.
Maybe
come
Destiny 2. Mid-January comes out. Ni no Kuni 2.
Pretty soon.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Yes, Level 5 is wonderful company. I'm happy with Level 5. Unfortunately, though, Studio Ghibli isn't really involved with this one.
It still I really like the look of it though. Like it looks like they're still keeping it in line with the whimsy of the first one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it.
I mean, if it was anyone else other than Level 5, I probably would I would doubt if it'd be good, but I know level 5. So it could actually be more fun. But the charm of Ghibli, the charm of Ghibli.
That's the name of that studio, Giblets.
Yeah, giblets.
Yeah, but I can't think of anything that's really coming out. Or my stopgap, either that or Destiny 2. Destiny 2 now has a free trial.
Oh,
you can play that for free now.
You didn't play Destiny when it first came out.
Yeah, not the original. No, I did not.
Or Destiny 2. Were you playing Destiny 2 or no?
No, I haven't.
That's what I meant.
That was because I was going through money. I had a.
I was going through money.
Yeah.
Looking through it. Didn't have any Destiny money on it.
I had a new job, and I just wasn't sure how much my medical stuff was going to cost on a yearly basis, and I just was trying to play it safe.
Mm-hmm. Turns out $300,000. Send help to Brandon Becker.
Yeah. No, I'm fine.
He's fine. Don't send money. Send money care of Joshua Lopez.
I have enough money to buy Xenoblade 2 and just have it sit.
Yeah. You had enough money to buy the heaviest video game in existence and just let it sit there.
It is 2 to 3 times heavier than my special edition Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah, you were looking through the art book for that one, and this is probably a bigger art book for 2, don't you think? Or do you think it's about the same size?
I bet the art book on 2 is smaller.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because X is such a big world. What they wanted to create a massive open world, more online experience than a narrative. That was common to Xenoblade 1 or Xenoblade Chronicles.
Interesting.
But I'm gonna miss the mechs, or what they were called, scales.
You're funny though, because I went up to Brandon and I was very enthusiastic because the reviews for it came out, and I thought Brandon would be happy with the scores, and I was like, yeah, IGN gave it an 8.5. That's really good. And Brandon's like, what? started thrashing around. He's like, I'll kill him.
That's like watching the best movie you've ever seen, and then someone saying, you know what, that wasn't bad. That's okay.
Really good. It's not an okay.
So you're describing watching movies with Josh.
Well, the guy. Wait. So GameSpot gave it a 7, and I went on there and I was looking at the bullet points, and the same guy who gave it 7 gave Final Fantasy 15 an 8. There is no It's no way. 15 does not deserve a better score than Xenoblade.
You haven't played Xenoblade.
Oh, but I know. It's like you knew Mario Odyssey was going to be good when it came out, right?
I don't think Xenoblade has earned that level of confidence, considering that all 3 of these games are completely different from each other.
You don't understand. I've never bought a game twice just to play it 2 days sooner.
Oh, okay. Well,
and I don't regret that. I'm still playing it, for goodness sake.
But this next game is nothing like that game.
The creator wrote this game specifically for me.
Brandon Becker.
Yeah. There's actually, when you boot it up, it says in loving memory for Brandon Becker.
Why memory? It says medical bills.
No.
Brandon Becker's fine. Don't send money unless it's to me.
Send video games.
Yeah, send video games.
Send me the Xenoblade Pro controller.
I
heard something interesting about that Pro controller.
So have I.
What about it?
Is that
D-pad,
the initial
right?
Switch Pro controllers, the D-pad, people would sometimes have issues of false registering inputs from an up and a down when you're pressing left and right. And apparently these are slightly different. Like the little nub that the D-pad is on is smaller.
Oh,
softer too, I think. So it creates more, like an input is singular rather than like I want to push up but I'm pushing down at the same time.
Yeah.
So I would want to pick one up, but I haven't had any problems with my Pro controller.
I don't have any problems with my Pro controller because I don't own one and will never want one.
His first problem is that it's not attached to the Switch that's playing Xenoblade 2. That's your first problem.
That's everybody's problem.
No, I'm looking forward to playing it, and but playing X is just still so fun. So,
Well, hey, look, we have the option of I could even play this version because like in July when you're done with it, and then
With X or Xenoblade 2?
it was Xenoblade 2.
I don't know.
You're
because
giving him too much credit.
Yeah.
Next December.
When I played the original Xenoblade, I regret not doing the end game because when I beat Xenoblade 1, I did everything that I could do that I thought I could, except do this end section where there's these alien creatures or something. And I said, you know what? I played this game so much, I'm done. But now I regret. I'm like, there's stuff I didn't
There's stuff undone.
see and explore, and I haven't been challenged with.
Brandon, everybody else in the world has seen this in-game stuff, and you haven't.
Well, yeah.
It's the talk of the town.
There's online bosses I want to try to beat, and it's kind of cool because I'm talking about X, by the way.
Yeah.
This old game from 2015. It's called RPs. It's hit points is a large number, and you dwindle it down by people destroying it. So like you beat it, and then the total of its hit points takes away the RP, I believe, and then eventually the main boss comes. This is all the online feature of the game, which I haven't even by hour 200 I'll be able to play.
I know that there's something that I've played for like 200 plus hours, but I cannot.
It's that card game by WoW, the Blizzard.
Hearthstone?
Hearthstone, yeah.
I doubt I've played 200 hours of Hearthstone.
Okay.
Maybe 100.
How much did you play Persona 4 for?
130?
Okay, yeah, that's how
a
much
short
I did too.
playthrough for that game.
No. That's for the true ending.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
For me, it's a short playthrough. I am like 40, maybe 50 something hours into Horizon, and I know I'm not far in that story at all. I think it said I'm 25% done or 33% done, but I think a lot of that is side quest stuff. Like I think main story progress is nowhere near that.
Yeah,
Probably true.
Yeah, that percentage is everything.
It's total percentage.
Yeah, it's total percentage.
Yeah,
that includes like all the hunting missions and all that stuff. So,
before I move on, I just wanted to say, when I'm done with X, my biggest question I'll ask myself or have to decide is what I'm going to do with my Wii U. Because
burn it.
No, you should keep it.
Well, I'm going to keep it. Do I put it away in a box? Because what else?
No, you put it under the TV.
What is there to play on it? It seems
Mario
like
Galaxy. I like to play those. I play those.
Okay.
This is Mike's.
So you want me to do it for you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mike wants you to sacrifice your Wii U upon the altar of the TV.
Problem is yeah, okay. No, I can do that, I guess. It's just, everything that seems to be out, you can actually buy on the 3DS that I want to play.
Yeah, no,
except the Mirage.
There's nothing that you would want to buy on a Wii U that is coming out. I don't know if there's any games
Nothing
coming out. Yeah.
But something that's
There's older games.
like Wally World.
You could play
Woolly World.
Donkey Kong.
Okay, but that's on the. You can get that on the 3DS.
No,
you can't
not
get Tropical
Tropical
Freeze. Yeah, you can't get that, but you can
That's
get.
what I'm talking about.
You can get 3D. You can get the jungle one. You can get
Metroid Prime Trilogy.
I just want access to Mario
I
Galaxy.
actually, yeah, that's true. I think I own that. I think I did buy that on the market, and then I bought a what are those things? USB drive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
To store extra games on.
yeah, because Xenoblade takes up the entire space of the Wii U.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I
I had to delete Zelda.
It's a big game. Oh yeah, you had to delete Zelda. Oh, you can play Zelda again when you get a Switch. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
That's okay. I
it'll
beat
have
it.
good frame rate.
Did everything I want to do.
Even the Master Sword stuff.
I haven't done any of the DLC.
When's the new DLC come, Aaron?
Haven't said.
Oh, it's supposed to be coming out this month, though, isn't it?
It is. There may be an announcement on the Game Awards on Thursday.
What if they just drop it right then and
It's
there?
possible.
What there? I may play Starbound. I may play that before.
Fair enough.
Because they've added so much to it, and I was such a huge fan of Terraria.
I have that on PC. Starbound.
Yeah, that's all
Aaron
it
bought
is.
it for me for Christmas one year.
It's supposed to come out for the PS4, but I think it got canceled.
Well, that was Brandon's video game smorgasbord. Any other things you want to mention?
No, except it is good to be alive and have Xenoblade in my life. And then Ni no Kuni, man,
You needed to qualify that.
it's slowly. Ni no Kuni is slowly, or just directly behind Xenoblade.
It's creeping up on you.
Well, I mean, time-wise, yes, but I mean, in my love for, because Ni no Kuni actually is one of the few, as probably the only RPG I ever beat twice, and then the second time I platinum the entire game. Platinum. Okay, and that's it. That's all I have to say.
You and your platinum exploits.
I'm done talking.
Forever. Brandon has now taken a vow of silence, and to fill that void, Mike.
Oh.
Tell me.
Oh, wait a second. I gotta say,
It was a short vow of silence.
now that I think about it, Xenoblade Chronicles X was what got me to buy the Wii U, and now Xenoblade 2 is the one that's gonna get me to buy the Switch. So
there you go. It's a
darn
system
you,
seller.
Nintendo.
It was their plan all
That
along.
Xenoblade game is a system seller.
They don't
Yeah.
consider it a success until Brandon buys one of their consoles. Then they're like, yeah. They could
Yeah.
sell 100 million, but they'll be like failure
But did Brandon
until Brandon
play it?
buys it.
Right now, there's this whole screen. Like you can see their sales on one wall at Nintendo headquarters, and then on this other screen, that's just Brandon's face, and it's a big red X. And they're like, "What did we do wrong?" But there's like a little blip. There's a little blip of hope for them because they see the purchase of Xenoblade X or Xenoblade 2.
Yeah,
And
but
they're
no
like, "Oh,
Switch purchase.
He has the game. Where's the Switch?" And they smack the wall. Is this broken?
And then he's like, he's purchasing something else. He's buying it again.
They're like, yes.
3 copies. Why?
To all my friends, Merry Christmas.
Hey,
Brandon
I'll take
has one friend.
it. 2 for him and 1 for.
Well, what does that mean? That means you're not my friend.
Why you only buy 2? 3.
Oh, you mean why? Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Mike, how's it going?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Video games. So, I started, played, and finished, Mario Odyssey. I saw credits.
Played the credits.
I played that game to pieces for a few days there. So much so that I hurt myself playing it.
How? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I developed tendonitis
Destroyed
in
your
my
hand.
wrist. Yeah, and I think it was because of the Bowser fight. Well, one of the Bowser fights, you have punching gloves, and you're supposed to shake the.
That's both the Bowser fights.
Oh, that's true. And you're supposed to shake the Joy-Cons, like you're punching. And I really wanted to punch that Bowser right in the mush, so I was really getting into it. And I was like, and I was punching him, and I was like, this is really good. And then I woke up the next morning, I was like, my wrist hurts. And I was like, I probably should stop playing until it feels better, but I'm like, I can't. Peach needs me. Mm-hmm. And so I kept playing, and that game is pretty magical.
And he had to amputate his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my cat Minnie hold one Joy-Con,
Oh yeah.
and
Just
I
put it on
held
her
the
tail.
other.
Put it on her tail.
Yeah.
And he says, shake.
Yep.
And then he shaked.
But that game is really good. I was really liking it, and then I got to New Donk City, and without going into details, there is an event that happens in New Donk City that was just a moment of pure happiness and joy, and basically a celebration of all the years Mario's been around, and it was just so fun to play that and see that.
Yeah, I mean, in all the advertisements, they use the song during that piece. I read an article in Nintendo Treehouse about the guy who was writing the lyrics for it, because they took the concept and they put down a translation, and then he translated it, and they worked together, and they went for so long. Like, there's so much work put into that song.
It's a brilliant song that got stuck in my head. So I didn't watch any ads. I don't know. Like, I'm weird. Like, I slept on both this and Zelda. Like, I saw like the initial like screenshot for this game where he's running around in the desert, with the little skeleton guys.
Yeah.
And then there was the trailer that came out around E3, which I kind of have paid attention to. So I didn't know about the song or any of this stuff. I mean, I knew about New Donk City because, like, how could you, that stood out in the trailer.
Right.
But it was like all new, and it was like the song just like blew me away, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so like I immediately downloaded it and then listened to it like 50 times, like in a row, because it's just so catchy.
Yeah. I think the E3 trailer has it, and it's like, it's such a good way to sell that game, just period.
Yeah. And then I went back and I actually watched the ads, and I guess in New York at its launch, they brought in like a whole dance troupe, and they had some pop star. I'm old man, so I don't know who any of these guys are, but he came in and everyone's going nuts and they're
Justin
singing
Bieber?
the song. And no, I know him. It was somebody who seemed like he was, enjoying life. And so
Take that, Justin Bieber.
yeah. And anyways, it is a great way to sell the game, and I'm glad though that I didn't really know about it, because when that sequence happened, for one thing, it was weird that there was voice like that in a Mario game, because other than Wahoo or It's a Me, there's really not a lot of dialogue in a Mario game. But then there's like this whole song, and it's not even the only song in the game, and it's like, it's just so good. And yeah, just to speak about the gameplay too, it's like Nintendo gets all these little gameplay ideas, and then they're just like, we're gonna just put all of these in this Mario game, and you're never gonna do any one of these activities for very long, just enough to kind of like whet your appetite, but then we're gonna like move you on to the next thing. And so there's just so much variety, and even within a level, you're like having to use the Joy-Con in a new way that you hadn't before, or you have to like race a little car around, or it's just great. It's just so fun. I mean, it was a nice thing to play in what is otherwise kind of a crappy year.
I mean, not video game wise.
No, not video game wise, but just like, it's just a nice thing where it was just
much
bright.
needed positivity.
Yeah, it was much needed positivity, and like even a lot of the games that I played are, they're kind of like serious or whatever, and all good.
Yeah,
like
you played this after Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I did play this after Wolfenstein, and it was just a very nice thing, like juxtaposed to that. It was just like, just breath of fresh air, and it's just so colorful. The graphics are great, and yeah, just really no complaints. I kind of think that some levels didn't thrill me as much as others, but like when the game was like really at its high, which is like 90% of the time, is just the best.
Yeah.
I still don't know if I like it as much as Galaxy, but I definitely like it more than Sunshine in 64 for the 3D Marios. It's probably tied with Galaxy. Which, I mean, I love, like, Galaxy's the only like Mario game, like 3D one, that I went back and played like over and over and over because I enjoyed it so much. So I could definitely see, once my wrist feels better, and I can maybe secure a Pro Controller or something, I'd love to go and collect the other. I finished the game with 250 moons, so I'd like to go and collect the other 250
moons.
Yeah. And so I'd like to go back and keep exploring, because I like what unlocks at the end of the game was like, oh man, this is cool. I don't even have nostalgia for this, and I think this is really cool. And I love the Goombette. She's my favorite character of all time now. I just love her to death. And it's very cruel what you do to her, though, because like the Goombette is this little girl Goomba, and all she wants is just a friend, just a male friend. And so, Mario can take control of Goombas, and you try to pair up the Goombas. But then as soon as she like falls in love, like when you figure out the puzzle and you get the Goomba over there and she's so happy, but then Mario pops out of the Goomba and then squishes the Goomba right in front of her, and then she gets terrified. It's
Sick
very
and twisted
cruel.
game.
It's a very twisted.
I'm going to say you're not required to kill the Goombas. That is just Mike putting his own little twist on
Stomps
things.
that
Listen,
Goomba. Goombat.
Sometimes evil's got to pay. So
Love will squish you to death.
yeah.
Well, you don't squish the girl; she disappears.
Yeah, she gets scared and because she's very shy, and so she disappears.
She hightails it out of there.
But she's heartbroken though, because she thought she found her true love.
Yeah, the tallest Goomba in the world.
Yeah, that's all.
But no, it's just Mario being a jerk.
So, anyways, yeah, and there's
Creepy. Mario's some like.
There's lots of creepy Mario moments in this game.
Yep.
Where you do things and you're impersonating people. You're like, you shouldn't do that. I got a star by killing a lizard. This flying lizard man who's there on some of the stages, and you can possess him and you can glide to an area and get a moon. And there was one where it was over some poison. I could not figure it out. And I was like, oh, you know what I can do? And I took him and I'm like, we're going into the poison, man. And then I flew into the bridge, jumped out of him, grabbed the moon, and he just went, oh! Like, he had no idea. He woke up and he was headed for some poison.
You Yoshi'd him.
Yeah, Yoshi'd him. Yoshi'd him
Yeah.
hard. Got that moon, though.
Yep, I did the same thing, and it
Yeah.
was great. I was like, take that, lizard guy.
I don't know how you're supposed to get that one.
Yeah, I think that is how you sacrifices must be made for Mario to get his fat loots. And I got all the costumes too. That was another aspect about this game that I really liked, is just buying all the different suits. So at one point I was just running around in boxers in the snow. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all the levels, there's always just something new. It's like you never know like what's gonna happen in every level, and it's just, oh man, I love that snow level. Those walrus guys.
There's a walrus guy who's like, oh, I'm going to quit. I'm out of here. I'm leaving. And Mario says, oh, no. I need your body for this. Scared. It's scary. I can't go.
Some voodoo magic.
No.
And that whole like sequence is just so fun, and yeah. So I thought it was okay, the game. No, I really loved it. I'm really happy
Give it a 5 out of 10.
that Josh let me use his Switch to play it. So, but I will go back to it because I definitely want to see what happens when you get 500 moons.
Yeah.
Because when you finish the game, like at the very end, there's a message that just says, "Oh, by the way, your adventure just sort of kind of is now starting. So go do all this stuff."
So you haven't beaten it yet.
Well,
Yeah,
technically,
there's
you
a
do
lot
beat
of
it.
reasons to go back to each world.
Yeah. He got credits.
Yeah.
And he did the main thing that you usually have to do in a Mario game, which is beat Bowser.
Which again, I won't go into any details. The ending had me like in stitches. It was the funniest.
Pain.
It was so funny.
Stitches of my right arm.
Yeah.
His
my
left
arm.
hand tendonitis.
Snitches get stitches and end up in ditches. But no. Anyways.
Well, when they play on switches.
Yeah, when they play on switches. But anyways, no, the ending was just super funny, and it's just, that game is great. It's so good. And then I've been going back to Assassin's Creed, and I was excited because like I got Assassin's Creed and I played it for a little bit, but then Frozen Wilds came out for Horizon, so I was like, well, I got to play this. So I played that, and then Josh was like, oh, the Switch is up for play now. And I was like, well, now I got to play Mario. And so I finally cleared off these two big games. And I'm like, yeah, I can get back to Assassin's Creed. And then my wrist was like damaged, so I had to like wait for 3 days. And but
Read a book. Do something edifying.
yes.
No, you didn't read a book.
No. Who does that in 2017? And but anyway, so I went back to that, and the side quests are definitely the highlight in that game. Like they definitely took a page out of The Witcher. I wouldn't say they're like as good as something like the Bloody Baron from The Witcher, but they're just like little bite-sized stories, almost like little episodes of just like world building or just meeting this and doing that. And I really enjoy those. And actually one of the ones that I'm doing right now is like very involved. It's almost like a main plot assassination, but it's all just side stuff, and it just keeps leading into things. And but the thing that I like about this game is that it's kind of like the Bethesda open world games where the AI kind of follows its own kind of like well, it's everything. It's like very what do they call that in Oblivion? Their AI, the immersive AI,
Ambient,
radiant AI. Yeah, it's kind of like that, where it's like you'll just be walking around, and then these guys with horses will come by, and then all of a sudden a pack of hyenas comes over a hill, and they'll start fighting each other, and then maybe a hippo will show up out of nowhere, and,
what's that?
And it's just like
hungry hippo.
Yeah, the hungry hippo. But like I was doing a quest, and it was to find this buried city from way back in Egypt's past, and I found it, and there was these guards there, and so you send your bird out, and he's kind of like a drone, from like Wildlands, where you can kind of scan and highlight where all the enemies are. So I'm like, all right, I got all these guys in here. I'm gonna plot out my course of action here, how to get into this temple. And then all of a sudden, this band of raiders just comes over the dunes and just engages with these guys. And then it's just this huge melee going on in front of this temple. And so I'm like, all right. So I just kind of sneak around, and this huge battle's going on. I just sneak right into the temple, get my stuff, come back out, and there's just bodies everywhere. Just horses and just dead people. And it's just like, man, some stuff went down. But that stuff is really cool.
Sounds cool.
Because it's not scripted, it's just...
Oh, that's not scripted.
That's not scripted. No, it's just stuff that happens because there's roaming bands of marauders, and, there's wildlife. I watched 2 lions take on a alligator. And so I just kind of watched to see who would win the fight. The alligator won the fight.
What?
He's got water on his side.
He killed those lionesses. He was just like, meow, meow. And then I killed the croc because he had skin that I need.
Because you're king of the jungle.
Yep, because yes. But yeah, I continue liking the character a lot. I like the character's wife a lot. She's cool. You get to play as her
married?
just a little bit. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Yeah, and they have a really good relationship too. It's very natural. Parts of the game are really well written. The thing that my biggest complaint about it is that the cutscenes are poorly directed. They're cut weird, and they're kind of abrupt sometimes. For example, there's this one where you meet up with this guy who is from Egyptian birth, but he's given up his heritage so he can race in the hippodrome.
Moses.
No.
Oh,
and no, he's actually Egyptian, but he gives it up so he can be this top racer in the hippodrome. And so he's like, I gave up the Egyptian gods so I could worship the Greek gods, and I wear Greek attire. And Bayek is like, oh, but we used to be childhood friends. And so they get drunk, and just they start arguing, and then it's just it comes out of the cutscene, and then you have this awkward fist fight with the guy, and then after you knock him out, it just all of a sudden cuts to both of them just waking up in a stable because they passed out, and it's just weird and abrupt, and it's I kind of get what you guys were going for, but it just doesn't have a natural flow or anything to it. It's definitely something they could work on. And the very beginning of the game is really awkward. The way that game starts is just straight up bad. I mean, it introduces you to the mechanics and stuff, but there's just no context for anything that's going on. Or
yeah, the guy comes out and he says, "I am an assassin." Oh wait, not yet.
It's honey, I gotta go to work. I gotta go kill some people.
Yeah, and then
I'll be home tonight for dinner.
It just begins with him in some underground lair, fighting some guy and it's just like, what's going on? And then when you beat them, there's just like, oh, I guess I just explore this, and
It's like
now I'm
X-Men 2,
Yes,
where Wolverine is fighting in a cage at the beginning.
yes, just like that. It's like, anyways.
Hopefully the ending's a lot better.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm more in it for the side stuff than anything. Like they do kind of flesh out like what Bayek's revenge path is and stuff, but like I said, it's just not told the greatest way.
You're more in it for the gameplay than you are the story.
The gameplay and the side stories, and like Bayek himself is very he's very likable and well written and things like that. So
Did you ever finish the man? What's that game?
Gonna need more than that.
That space game by BioWare.
Oh,
Andromeda.
Mass Effect. Yeah.
No, that game was boring.
Did
I fell
anybody
asleep.
finish that game?
Like, here's the thing. When I'm playing a game and I keep falling asleep while playing it, I take that as a sign that this is an extremely boring game, because that's what happened with me in Fallout 4. Like, I would be playing it, and then I would all of a sudden wake up and I'd be like, oh, and my guy's like walking into a wall. And that was the same thing with Andromeda. Like, there were things, like, it started off where I was like, oh, maybe people are wrong about this, and because this actually seems kind of cool and I'm kind of liking it. But then you just keep going to these planets and doing the exact same thing and fighting the exact same enemies, and those enemies are not compelling at all, and all the side missions are just MMO style collectathons, and those aren't fun. And like, I started getting to know the companions, and most of them were boring. I wouldn't say they were bad, they're just boring. And it also suffered from some of the same things Assassin's Creed Origins do, where it's just like poorly directed cutscenes. Like, things just don't have a natural flow. Conversations don't have a natural flow.
Mm-hmm.
They're just cut poorly. Abrupt endings, to a scene that doesn't have like a proper resolution. And it's just, yeah, I'd had and the frame rate sucked. Like, trying to go into combat and it feels like it's running through a slideshow is just not fun. Like, Assassin's Creed has a really good frame rate to it, so it's very smooth. It'll chug a little bit sometimes, but never enough where I feel like I'm affected by it. It's just usually if I'm like in a really populated, dense city, I can, you can kind of tell that it's chugging a little bit. Never unplayable, but Mass Effect never felt like it was running at 30, and it just was, yeah, it was just super boring. Just the planets, the places you go, the quests you got, just boring. Kept falling asleep. So I was like, I'm done. I'm not gonna go back.
Story of Mass Effect.
Only cost $20, so don't feel too. It's like, I'm glad I got to at least see it for myself, So I couldn't just like write it off as just well, this is what the internet says. So
Well, I didn't mean to detour you. I just meant, I just remember that
why
game.
did you bring up Mass Effect?
Just to see if he, because he was saying he was in Assassin's Creed for the side stuff, and it just made me think of Mass Effect. I was just like, I wonder if you ever finished that. But
no, boring.
Cool. And that's pretty much all the games you played, right?
I played a little Battlefront 2, but it was fun. But not gonna buy it.
No.
Yeah, it was fun. Starfighter stuff was fun.
Aaron.
Yes.
What have you been doing over there? Playing with your
right now,
headset.
or in the past couple of weeks here?
Past couple of weeks.
Because right now I'm playing with a fidget cube.
I know, I can hear it. Stop it.
But these past couple of weeks, I've been playing a couple games that came out. New games, relatively. One a little bit older. One brand new one. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp.
Oh, yeah. How's that going for you? This is the Animal Crossing that came out for, is it just iOS or all phones?
No, it's Android as well.
Okay.
But yeah, Animal Crossing game, mobile, free to play, and it's doing a good job scratching like an Animal Crossing itch, but it's definitely not a full-fledged game.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't feel like it's, forcing any of its paid content to you. There's lots of avenues to earn that sort of free or paid currency.
And pretty much everything you can just spend time on it instead, right?
Yeah, and then you can speed things up with the real money currency and any special items. Like you can buy a stool to have KK come play guitar at your camp, and that costs the real money currency. But everything else, all the furniture and all that stuff, you can just craft with the resources you gather in the game.
Should just cut down a tree. Should be good enough for him.
Yeah, you'd think so. But you have a camp, and there's little different sections you can go of a park, and there's like a stream, an ocean, and like fruit trees, and you can gather fruit. And as you shake a tree and gather its fruit, it'll have a timer of when the fruit populates again, which actually isn't that different from a normal Animal Crossing game. It's just that now you can use real money currency to get more fruit.
Except now it has real time tree growing.
But you gather these items, different fish, different bugs, and fruit, and at these different sections of the camp, different animals will be there, and they'll be requesting certain items, and you can fulfill those requests and level up your friendship levels. And at a certain point, you can invite them to your camp, and then they'll just hang out at your camp.
How many of them ask for a pale chub?
I don't think I've seen hardly any, because I get that all the time, and I have a million of them.
That would be a low rent friend.
Does Jason show up?
Who?
Jason
Voorhees.
Jason Voorhees?
Yeah.
I have not seen him.
Missed
That would be
opportunity
a pretty
for
cool
cross,
outfit to get.
Should
Maybe
invite him to your camp.
Halloween next year, maybe they'll have like a hockey mask you can buy.
We can hope.
But yeah, it's fun. And I hope they actually announce an actual Nintendo Switch Animal Crossing pretty soon.
It's got to be in the pipeline.
Yeah. I don't remember if I mentioned this game or if this game came out before the last episode that we did. Battle Chef Brigade.
I think it came out last week. Didn't it?
I don't remember.
It was,
but I've been.
I think so.
Yeah, I've been playing that and enjoying it very much.
Does it hold up for like a full game?
It is there's a lot of plot in it. So it's very much, interacting with characters and having something, going on in the background and giving you reasons that you're competing in this, Battle Chef competition. And there's an overall, plot happening in the background. So that's giving you reason to keep going. But even then, the actual matches itself are fun enough where it's, even if you don't care about the plot, you can just keep going forward with these challenges.
That's good, because that's what I was afraid of, really, that they would be so repetitive that the challenges wouldn't be fun either.
Yeah, and it's on the Switch. It's also on PC. $20.
It's on everything. It's on the PS4.
Is it?
Yep.
Excellent.
I think so. Yeah.
Is it on the Xbox?
The what?
What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that console
don't
did
know.
not exist in this household.
I don't know.
And then I played and finished Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus.
Oh, you did?
Wolfenstein.
I have played the entirety of both those games now within the past month.
So how about all the things that happen?
Those are really crazy and cool and fun. It's a fun, that's the thing I didn't expect is like I cared about over the course of these two games, I cared about like all the characters in the game, and I was curious to see what was going on with them, what would happen next. And I also couldn't stop playing because I wanted to see what was going to happen. And after finishing 2, it's like, I want to see what will they do for a third game if it ever happens.
Yeah, I hope it happens.
Me too.
What? 1, 2. Which one's better?
1 is actually really good.
I think 1 has better level design and shooting encounters, but I like the craziness of 2. I don't know.
I think 1 has probably like the better, more competently told story.
Yeah.
2 has better moments though.
Yeah. Yeah. I think ultimately I do like 1 more.
They're very comparable though.
Yeah, they are. But mostly just because I mean, you take the story aside, like, I agree with Aaron. I think the story of the first one is a lot more like cohesive. But I also just think the gameplay in the first one was better. Like I
feel like the second one was tougher.
It definitely was, and I heard though that they patched in damage indicators, so it's easier to tell where you're being shot from. Is that true?
I didn't notice having any issue with that. I felt like that was an issue in the first game.
Yeah. So if you probably didn't notice it, then they probably did fix it. But yeah, that was just such a pain because it's like, oh, I'm running around in this like kill box and I'm getting killed and I don't know why or where, and it just eventually just kind of wore on me.
I can't imagine what it's like playing that game on harder difficulties.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I put it on the second medium difficulty because it was like medium for experienced gamers, and kind of wish that I had just started that game on the medium for casuals because I had a lot more fun when I bumped down the difficulty. But
I played it on the second lowest difficulty.
So it was like easy for
baby.
I don't remember exactly what it said, but
casual for quadriplegic.
It was rough still.
Yeah. And the last encounter in 2 is real bad. That part was real bad. I just ran past it. I heard
you can just go up that ladder.
That's what I ended up doing because I just kept fighting those guys, and I was like, well, I didn't expect that to be the last encounter for 1. But I was like, what if I just run past everything? And so that's what I did. And then that's kind of why it was like I was kind of complaining about it on the podcast, where it's like, you think that the last encounter should be like the coolest part, of the game because it like builds up to this big moment, but then it's like, nah, you can just run by it. Whatever.
But like I feel like the coolest part was the part after that.
Well, yeah. You mean immediately right after with Anna? Yeah.
We all
know that whole everything from then on.
Yeah.
Definitely. I concur.
Remember when he turns into a metal dragon? It's such a great part of it.
You're not that far off.
Have you are you interested at all in any of that? Either of you?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. I don't think we should spoil anything. So.
No, but I'm saying if you don't think you'll play it, I would say it's worth checking out the story.
It's hard to say I'll play it, considering how many good games came out in 2017 that I haven't even gotten to yet. So
yeah, it's cool.
It is cool. Glad that I played it, but man, it's a weird series because it's really funny and actually does deliver on the comedy. But it's also really dark, but it does a really good job of balancing those two things.
Actually,
it's never
the ending of this game is surprisingly hopeful.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing that actually kind of saves this game from just sinking into just despair. There is that sense of hope through the entire game that carries through. Even with BJ's inner monologues being so grim. They're still
especially at the beginning where he's just like,
yeah.
Well, considering what happened to him at the end of the last game.
Yeah. But like the other characters, kind of like uplift everything. And then like when BJ, comes back stronger than ever, it gets even more so, just like, there's a way out. There's actually light at the end of this very Nazi-infested dark tunnel, and I appreciate it about it, because it's easy to be like, we can just make this grim dark and have everything suck and make you feel bad, but it's hard to do that, but then also say, yeah, but there's a little hope in there.
A little hope
and
at the end of the
I
rainbow.
am so glad they have these segments where you're in the base.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh for sure. Yeah, it's almost like. Oh sorry.
Yeah, they totally make, all the side stuff, all the ancillary characters, worthwhile.
It reminds me of the Normandy from the Mass Effect series, like the fact that you could always go to the Normandy and talk to your companions and get stories out of them was really probably my favorite part of those games, and the fact that this has that makes it, really, I think it really elevates it.
Which timeline did you play?
Okay, so the first timeline I saved the older guy, the Scottish guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it asks you like what choice you made, I thought I selected the Scottish guy, but I got the young guy. And so I was like, well, I don't want to restart it. And the young guy is going to some weird places. So I kind of want to see where this goes. And it goes to some weird places. So I kind of played both of them in a weird way.
I am really curious seeing the other side of that, because I've seen like what happens with the other character, and that seems really fun, but I'm glad I played the one with the younger guy.
Oh my gosh, man, his mind gets expanded.
Yeah, you see it in trailers.
Yeah,
I'm sure it goes from there. I'm sure that's just the beginning.
It totally makes sense with the first game because of what happens in his relationship with other characters in that game, because that's what I did for both those, playing them back to back.
Yeah, I should rebuy the first one for the PS4 because I played it on PC, but like my PC had this weird thing because it's an older PC where it was like, oh, if you look this direction, it runs at 30, but if you look in this direction, it runs at 60. So it was like constantly going between frame rates. So it was kind of annoying, but I was so into the story and stuff that I was like, whatever. But,
if probably close to Christmas, might have a PlayStation sale. The sales that have been going on recently, they've been like $10 for like the original game and $10 for like the expansion.
Okay. Yeah, I heard the Old Blood's really good too. So
even the new game has been discounted recently.
Well, I actually the reason I'm playing it is because on Black Friday it was $25 at Best Buy.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Pays the wait.
And then I have one more game that came out earlier this year that I don't know why I haven't been playing it. Just so much other stuff has been coming out. But I know I wanted to get to it for, Game of the Year considerations and things like that. And that's Nier Automata.
It's my shame, because I didn't finish it. I want to so bad.
I am loving the crap out of it.
Yeah, it's also
open world, action RPG. You're playing as these androids that are protecting humanity, who the last of humanity's migrated to the moon. And aliens are sending these machines down to Earth, and these androids are fighting the machines, and no one knows what's going on.
It's another game that's really weird. I played it for about 16 hours. I'll talk to you off the podcast, like where we're at, because it's definitely a game you don't want spoiled.
Yeah, but I would say 16 is probably pretty close to... You haven't finished that first playthrough?
No, I haven't gotten ending A yet.
That is about where I got that first playthrough, the ending. And it's a game where each time you play it, it like peels back a layer of understanding to be like, oh, that first time you played this, it's hard to understand what exactly was going on. And then each time you're seeing more and more of the actual story. And so it's been interesting. I'm about to finish my second playthrough.
Okay.
So, yeah. And your progress on a lot of the sub quests, I don't know if they carry over or not. I think they carry over. If you complete one, then it'll be completed on your next playthrough.
Okay, yeah. See, I wasn't.
And all your levels and stuff carry over.
I wasn't super into the side quest for that game either because I wasn't. I kind of wish that game was just more linear instead of the open world. But I don't know. I may be less informed as to like why it's open world because it seems like it should just be like a straightforward kind of action game and stuff. With
I think the side quests are actually really well done because they kind of inform just the weird pockets of this world and kind of inform the larger mystery of like what's going on and why things are so weird.
Yeah. Man, that game is weird, but it is really cool. I have vowed that once I'm done with Assassins, I am going to go back and finish Nier because I still remember exactly where I left off in the story. So it won't be hard to get back into it.
Yeah.
How many times do you think you'll beat it, Aaron? How many endings?
At this point, I can see myself getting every single ending.
Mm. And how many are there? Is there one for every letter of the alphabet?
Yes, there's 26 endings. I did get one of them.
The really easy one at the beginning?
Ending W because I'm a bad player.
No, I didn't get that one. I got a different one.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. No, I got the demo, the very beginning of the game, which is also the demo. If you die there, you just get credits. And it says the robots ruled the earth forever, and there's just credits. But the credits, the entire credits scroll in about 2 seconds. So it's just like really fast, and then it's just like, oh, and now it's over. And what really sucks is there's no checkpoints in that beginning section, and it's like 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was right at the end fighting the big boss, and that's where I died. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to play through all of this again. But
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I also really like the way they handle the RPG parts, like the way you customize your interface and stuff like that. Stuff is really cool. That stuff is very cool.
Yeah, you're actually like physically trying to place a bar on like this chart, trying to fill up your available memory. It's really weird. It's one of the weird things about the game.
Yeah,
that makes it cool.
So you would recommend it to people like Josh?
If you like weirdo philosophical anime bullcrap.
I mean, I think that's my middle name. I haven't checked.
Platinum Game Combat.
Nope, that's not my middle name at all.
Open world.
If you're into like that marriage, or if you are a weirdo like me and love the original PS3 Nier.
Will the philosophical crap take me over any gameplay things that I don't like?
Probably.
I think the game has difficulty settings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just slap it on easy. The gameplay, it's not as complicated as like a Devil May Cry or other, well, it's not a Platinum game, but like Bayonetta or something.
I mean, my problem with those games isn't that they're difficult. I just don't like it.
On easy, that chip system that I mentioned, they have chips where you can just equip them and it'll do auto combat.
Oh, so you can just walk into a room and let it take care of itself?
I'm not sure how it works, but sounds like it.
Maybe. Anything else you played?
That's it, except a board game.
Oh, yeah. Board game. Me, Brandon, and Aaron played a board game last night. It was called The Thing, and then there's other words that I don't remember.
Assault on something.
Assault on
Station
31.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. All by myself. It is a trader game, like Battlestar Galactica, the board game. Or, in ways, I mean, it's like Secret Hitler.
Yeah.
Where one person is the thing at the very beginning of the game. We played it with 6 people.
And if you're not familiar with the Thing, it's a alien life form that can take the form of a human being.
Yeah. And so obviously it can take the form of anything, really. And this game is based on the movie, loosely.
The original.
The original movie.
Not the original. Well, sort of, kind of the original.
Look.
It's
based on a movie,
Carpenter?
guys. Yeah, John Carpenter.
Yeah, John Carpenter. Yeah, the one with Kurt Russell.
It's based on a movie, but more importantly, It's about betraying your friends and then convincing them that you're not a liar and a cheat. You're on this base and you have your people and you're in your rec rooms and you have different roles and you have to go to different areas on the base and complete missions. And if you complete a mission, you get to search the room, and then you need to unlock or find a certain number. You need to find an item and kill a thing, a version of the thing, before the next section unlocks. And
that version of the thing is different from the actual player.
Right. These are like little things that are running around.
Little combat encounters you have.
Yeah. And there's 3 sections that you have to go through, each one more or less increasing in difficulty, really.
Yeah.
And number of rooms.
And number of rooms. And things can go bad. Lights can go out. Rooms can set on fire.
Get destroyed.
Yeah. Things can go bad. And the thing...
there's lots of ways you can lose.
Yeah. As a human. And the thing, when they go on these missions, everybody contributes cards to accomplish their goal. And the thing just has straight up sabotage cards.
Well, you should state that, each person takes a turn as a captain, and then the missions can be anywhere from 3 to 6 players. So not everyone contributes, but those that the captain draws into the
right. And so it's deciding who you trust enough to go with you. When is it safe to gamble on a person? And how sneaky can you be as a monster? So the first game I was the original monster, and I did the stupidest move in the world that should have exposed me 100%. And instead it only exposed me 50%.
To me it was 100. It was 110.
It was
no one believed me.
You and Aaron were fully on board with me being the thing. But Jen even made a comment where I was like, well, Josh has done that before. And I was like, yeah, Josh has done that before. But it's the kind of thing where I lied about what card I put in. And then when somebody called me on the fact that I lied about it, I was like, I must have put in the wrong card.
Yeah.
It was not my finest moment. But the things did win in that round. My fellow thing, Robert Timmons, joined in and got us the W on that one.
Yeah, because it's divided into 3 sections, like you mentioned, and at each section there's a chance that another thing could appear. Yeah. Another player could become the thing.
Can become infected. And then the second game we played, I was a human. And Mr. Brandon Becker started the game as the thing.
Yeah, I made a critical error. Two critical errors.
One, and honestly, you made the same error that I did in that we did not read the sabotage cards.
Yeah.
We did not realize that they were different. Like they had different text on them. And they sabotaged in different ways.
This sounds very similar to Battlestar Galactica.
It is, but it's also not. So there's a lot more fluff in Battlestar Galactica. Like there's no space fights or anything like that. And that the actual way you take the supply cards, the cards to determine victory, is different enough that it's interesting. It is more obvious when the thing is sabotaging. Ooh. So it's like very clear that somebody in your group is out to do you in. And so that's interesting. As opposed to like the deck being random.
Yeah.
And can play throw a wrench and things. Yeah, Brandon made a critical error.
Brandon pretty much outed himself as the thing halfway through the game.
He
that said,
he tried to gambit and it did not work out for him.
And Josh,
that said,
put me
the
on
other thing still almost won the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys just steamrolled the human steamrolled that entire map.
Yeah, so you get through all those sections, and then you still have to make a choice who goes on the chopper, because not everybody's human, and if the thing gets on that chopper, you lose.
I love that.
That's it.
That's the coolest part when you guys were describing it. I was like, oh man.
So you get to the chopper, and you determine who's going to be in charge of that. And Aaron gave me leadership, and we voted for it. And then, all right, I'm the leader. And then we tested, because we did so well, we had 2 blood tests that we could run. So I was in the clear for myself anyway. And then we did 2 blood tests, and then that left, and we knew Brandon was the thing. We had him tied up in a room. I mean, at that point, you weren't tied up. You were just hanging around with us. You're just like, let me on that helicopter. And they're like, no, we know you're the thing. You've told us as much. And yeah, here you are standing out with us with the helicopter. And then it was between Aaron and Jen. And Aaron, I felt, was human enough. Jen, I wasn't sure. So we left her behind, and she was the other thing.
Oh. Yeah.
She lived.
Almost, it was down to that last decision.
Yeah,
that decision was a win or fail.
I could have very easily gone the other direction on that if it weren't for like in-game things that happen.
It's that Lopez bloodline that there's a certain trust, and like once Josh knows Aaron's on board, they can accomplish anything.
It's very tenuous though. Like it's very like it's a 50-50
as soon
thing.
As I suspected Robert Timmons to be the thing the entire game almost. And so we did his test and it came back as a human. I was like, oh no, because I feel like at that point I could have been suspected as the thing easily.
Yeah.
But the way you played it, I think if you were the thing, you would have been more aggressive about it.
See, and my impression was that he exaggerated his shock. He's like, what the,
It's a good game. It's a good game, and it's not as vicious as Secret Hitler.
Battlestar is pretty vicious too, because you can throw people in the brig and feelings are hurt.
Battlestar, I think,
it's also long.
Is very long.
Yeah, that's my biggest complaint about Battlestar. It's like 3 hours.
So if we take those three as not the basis, but as like a gradation, right? Battlestar Galactica has lots of mechanics that involves also a trader mechanic part of it. Mm-hmm. And there's lots of things that go on. There's different boards. There's different tracks. You got all these cards. Those cards do things in addition to being used for other things. And then on the other side of it, I think you have Secret Hitler, which has very few mechanics, and you just have a trader.
Entirely social,
entirely talking. You don't move things around really. Mm-hmm. You just talk and pass cards and play things. And I think the thing is right in between. It's not as complicated as Battlestar Galactica, but it's not as socially destroying as Secret Hitler. So if you wanted a nice casual betrayal game, the thing is the way to go.
Secret Hitler will get you sweaty.
Yeah, Secret Hitler. If you are not good at debating, it will frustrate you. And even if you are good at debating, you will get involved in that game. You will lose some weight.
We've had incidents of screaming.
Yeah.
During Secret Hitler.
I worry that we play that game in apartments, and it's like, how come nobody's been kicked out of this yet? Why have the cops not been called?
It's hard to run a nation.
It is. It's also hard to turn it to the land of no return. That's pretty much, I think, everything we played. Yeah.
We played that golf game.
Everybody's
Golf.
Yeah, we made a Brandon character in Everybody's Golf. Character creation in that game is ridiculous.
You can make really goofy anime versions of yourself.
Ooh, yeah. GameRushmore.onsouthernroad.com for our podcast. At Game Rushmore on Twitter. GameRushmore@gmail.com for questions and comments. On Southern Road on Facebook. YouTube.com/On Southern Road, and on there you can actually see Aaron's Laser Ramon channel.
Yep, I've been busy with a lot of Game of the Year games and stuff like that, so I haven't done like any reviews or anything lately. But I'm thinking about getting back on there or back on Twitch, twitch.tv/Laser Ramon, and we'll see what happens.
For you Overwatch fans, he did a really good walkthrough of the new Blizzard World map.
Yeah, it should be coming out live any minute now.
Yeah, you had all this kind of trivia about the map and all sorts of stuff. It was good. I very enjoyed it.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for a multiplayer map.
Yeah, you had multiplayer maps spoilers all over that thing.
I'm so excited for that map.
You're like, look at this ride. And you're like, oh, I was going to go see that ride myself.
I like to go into multiplayer maps not knowing anything.
I like to go into multiplayer maps, stop at each corner, take a look around. Buy teammates.
Enjoy the ambience.
I like to get to know by just respawning everywhere because I'm getting killed.
Yeah. Like, which of these rides can I jump into? Let's find out. See you guys later.
Peace. It's like my brother. I called him and I said, bro, my phone's dead, so I'm using my work phone, but it's only for emergencies. So otherwise, for regular correspondence, email me. And then he calls me back. Hey, bro, got your message. Thanks for the heads up. I'm like, how dare you? I said only for...
Also, you're both from New Zealand, apparently. Bro.
They don't say bro.
Yeah, they do.
They say Kiwi. Hey, Kiwi.